Elton John, Elvis Presley, Adele, and Betty White. All of these famous singers and influential people in the women's rights movement were all born as only children. By a show of hands, how many people here were born as only children? You two were born with specific and key advantages over everybody else in this classroom that you might not even know about. So today, I want to tell you about the psychological, emotional, and financial benefits that you might have over everybody else, and in the end, I want to tell you how you can use them to benefit yourself in the real world. When debating this topic, you can't ignore the fact that some only children might not have some of the key social skills that other people who were born with siblings have. But when reality comes down to it, only children grow up to be more disagreeable adults and have their own and are more confident and independent with their opinions. When talking about the psychological advantages of being an only child, you have to talk about Adele, who has an IQ of 105, and Leonardo DiCaprio, who has an IQ of 177. And for those who might not know, that's really high. A lot of tests have been done to explain why this might happen, but no real evidence has come up. One thing that has popped up, though, is in the brain scans of only children, they have a higher level of gray matter in their brain, which is related to white matter, and it is a important part of the outermost layer of the brain, and it connects it to the spinal cord. The gray matter has a whole bunch of neuronal cell bodies, which is linked to storage and knowledge in the brain. Speaking of storage, why do those new iPhones have so much storage in them? Like, who needs all those pictures? I guess I wouldn't know. I don't have the latest iPhone. But one of the advantages for only children is that their family is more likely to have a lot more money, which means they can have the new iPhone. Another advantage to being an only child is that you're more likely to drive in high school. Since your parents are more likely, they don't have to provide for other children, so they can afford to either buy or lease you your own car. Oh, driving by yourself in high school, as most of you may know since we're all upperclassmen, is that it helps you with your responsibility in your adult life, and it helps you prepare for some things that it gives you more independence away from your parents. Another thing about the emotional advantages of being an only child, or when you talk about being a child with siblings, you have to talk about the misbehavior that some may have and how they might not get all the attention that only children get at home. That's not a problem you really have to worry about as an only child because you're only the only one there. You only have two parents to give you all the attention you need. So you don't really talk about the misbehavior of only children because they get all the attention they need at home. China has had, over the last 30 years, for 30 years, had a one-child policy, and a study was done not only to only children, but to children with siblings to see the key differences in their intelligence. One thing you might want to first notice is that only children didn't really have that much of a big difference in the levels of intelligence compared to children with siblings, but they had a lot more of a flexible brain, which is linked to the creativity and their ability to think outside of the box. A lot of professionals, when they're researching this, think that this is linked to the amount of resources that the only children were given and their ability to use those resources to better themselves in the real world. Now, you've seen the differences between only children and children with siblings, but do you really know how to use them? My unprofessional advice is that you should take advantage of the many opportunities and resources that your parents give you and explore the wide range of things you can do in your adult life and use them as creatively as possible. And when faced with a problem, try to solve it on your own instead of turning to a peer or somebody else so you get used to the feeling of not having to turn to somebody else and you grow smarter within yourself. And in the end, this will lead to a more successful and prosperous adult life. Today, we talked about the psychological advantages, emotional advantages, and financial advantages of being an only child. And we talked about the creative aspect of being an only child compared to having siblings. And then in the end, I told you how to use your unique advantages to better yourself in life. I hope you guys are able to use this knowledge to better yourselves in your adult life. And thank you for listening.